Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com. Alright, I'm just gonna... This may be a quite a lengthy video, and my time is, of course, never at the the amount that I'd like, but, and I'm not gonna go into full detail on some of these records, but here's a vinyl video, vinyl update, and one CD that I'll just show, so... Alright, so just go through the list. I hate doing these rush videos, but, it's been sort of... I haven't had the time to do it, so I don't know. This may not be the final draft. Anyway, I got the 22 album, You Are Creating Limb 1 finally on vinyl, and I've heard it, sadly, only one time. It's only a 30-minute album, believe it or not, but here's the vinyl itself. It's clear vinyl, kind of cool looking. And of course, there had been up to 3 tracks that had been released before the album did, but it's known as You Are Creating Limb 1, which means it's part of a series. There's going to be a Limb 2 at least. You know, I love, they're a Norwegian band, I believe. I love the last album, of course, Flux, and that came out in 2010, so it's been a long time, but, you know, it's got a lot of moments, a lot of vocal harmonies, a lot of, you know, odd rhythms and catchy, energetic parts, of course, which has come sort of their sound, part of their sound, and I'm glad their singer, who maybe I could find it in here, probably not, though, but their singer left and came back. Pear? I forget his name, because it's your name here. Oh, okay, here it is. Yeah, Pear Christian Fox Trolvik. Anyway. Magnus, yeah, so there's the band. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's not without highlights. The title track, You Are Creating, was the one they made the video, and I've enjoyed that many times, having listened to it about a little over a month ago. It's like a month and a half ago. It was supposed to originally come on the 22nd, so, you know, Type was one of the other ones that came out early. In Inspect, they made a video for like mid-March. So those are the 3 tracks that I knew going in, but Sum of Parts, I think it is, and Staying Embodied, and I mean, it's only like 8 tracks. So I mean, it is a full length, but it's more like a mini album per se. But I'm liking it. The thing that I'm disappointed the most is that nobody's talked about it. I think this band is too good to not have the attention. But I might make a separate video and at some point talking about it. Maybe mid-season, I'm not sure. I want to get going here and just go through the rest of those records, but thumbs up, and it's probably in the top 5 records so far this year. You Are Creating from the band 22 from Norway. So I did finally get Pain of Salvation's The Passing Light of Day, gatefold on vinyl. Of course, I got the CD back in like January, whenever this came out, or early February. It's a double album to kind of return to form, return to their sort of heavier sound. Cool artwork and everything from Daniel and all the new members, you know, other than Leo, of course, but since their last record, I can't remember. I haven't followed it like with the road salts and stuff like that, so, but yeah, I haven't gone back to this. The truth is, I haven't been able to listen to a ton of new albums. Oh, they gave me a copy of the CD in here too, so I have multiple. I ended up finding that other one, but, I actually found this at Agarda Records in St. Paul, which was just wonderful. I mean, to see Pain of Salvation actually in retail, finally. So, another album I would give a thumbs up. I gave it a 3.5, but I think it's a 4-star record, and I got to go back to it. But you know, I'm glad I got that. So, then I finally found a slightly more affordable copy of Pink Floyd's The Division Bell. Now there's many versions of this on vinyl. I think this is the European version, based on the label. What's on here with this PFRLP14A. Or Rate Your Music doesn't have the specific version listed, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's an anniversary edition. Of course, this album is probably as known for the artwork as much as anything. So, and it's one of the last Pink Floyd records that I have seeked out on vinyl. Well, just to complete my collection, basically. So, I mean, I talked about this album in that video, I believe, the Pink Floyd series videos I made back last summer. But, you know, I like it more than Momentary Lapse of Reason, although that album gets criticized more than I would prefer. But, yeah, it's great to finally have this. The only Pink Floyd record I don't have Ummagumma, and I don't have one or two of the live ones. But the biggest one that I don't have is More. At some point I will find it. Every time I see More, it's always $20 to $30, and I was like, I should be able to get More for like 10. I would think. Anyway, another one that I found recently, and this got issued I think last year. Peter Gabriel's Up. I know people have their opinions on Peter Gabriel, and I should do a video on Peter Gabriel. Of course, his solo career. Loved his stuff with Genesis, but this to me is the best solo Peter Gabriel solo album. It's the last proper album he released as a solo artist. Like, he did some covers and rearrangements and stuff like that, but in like a compilation. But this came out now 15 years ago, believe it or not, or almost. This is actually a triple vinyl. I didn't even realize that. So that means that basically it's like 2 songs a side, 180 gram. But this is almost like buying 3 12-inch singles in a way, like heavyweight 12-inch singles. And there's something else in here I didn't even realize, unless it's just a download card. No, it's a book. So I guess you're getting your money's worth more so. A lot of stuff in here. The Peter Gabriel Up book. But yeah, why do I think it's his best record? I guess the best question is that I just think it's more consistent song to song than most of his records. Not like this has my fate. Like, I probably would, if I had to choose one Peter Gabriel song, it would be Games Without Frontiers probably. But yeah, like I said, I should do a video on his. I have a lot of his solo stuff, not all of it. But yeah, this is a massive record, and I didn't even realize it had come out. But I found this finally, and seeing the other ones, I saw I think they reissued and expanded the album Us too, which is the one that preceded this, Up and Us. And I actually found that I had an original pressing. I found that used, I don't know how long ago, on the shelf over there. It was like a couple of years ago. Maybe it was less than 2 years ago. I don't remember showing it, though. But yeah, I mean, I guess song to song, Darkness, Growing Up, Sky Blue. You know, the Barry Williams Show was like the single they did the video for. My Head Sounds Like That, you know, Signal to Noise. I haven't listened to this album, though, in many years, but I just came to conclude that it was my favorite record. So, moving on, Painted in Exile, and I got their CD. This is the long, sort of awaited debut album, full-length debut album, and long delayed, slightly delayed, I guess. There's been worse, but it was I think it was Pledge Music or Kickstarter. I think it was Pledge Music that they did. Maybe it was Indiegogo. A campaign for this, and you know, the album. I can't remember this. The Ordeal. So it finally arrived after. I think the release date was like late October because it was on my last year's list. So, but I haven't even revisited this. And I mean, Pain in Exile is a band that popped up almost 10 years ago. Comes with a lyric sheet. My name is not in the thank yous though, but you know, they had the 2 EPs, especially the second EP that had that song Skylines that was so good, and they were doing sort of progressive metal core of a kind with a lot of keyboards and jazzy elements, and then they used a little bit of rapping. This album, again, when I heard it, I don't know if I mentioned, I liked it a lot. I was just a little disappointed that I wasn't. I guess how long it took to come out, you know, that was part of the issue with it. And but there's some really good stuff on it. Jupiter, I think, was one of my favorite pieces on this, but it might be something that would be growing on, I mean, in the next few years. But you know, I'm glad I got it. I wish more people knew about them. I think they didn't get signed. I was talking about Sumerian Records, but you know, I better late than never. I don't know. Hopefully, their next record will be sooner than this, but certainly happy to finally get that copy in the mail. I showed some other King's X records. I ended up getting Ear Candy and the self-titled album. Well, Dogman was the only one that was missing at the point that a few months ago when I found that. Well, I finally got Dogman too. I'd love to find an original pressing. If I ever find an original pressing, I'll snatch that up. But King's X's album from 1993, which I did a 1993 video, which I might talk about something with that. This is a thick pressing too, but of course Dogman, the first album without Sam Taylor as a producer, and it also has, I believe every song, all the vocals are done by Doug, lead vocals at least. Which is the first time they did that. They did that later with Manic Moonlight also, but yeah, I mean, some of the people, especially the people that like the metalheads that like King's X, this is one of their favorites, if not their favorites. And it, I guess, overall would be considered their heaviest album, or the closest, their most metal. But well, of course, I have problems with this. Yeah, but it's a nice gatefold and all this stuff, and my favorite song probably still remains on this album, "Fool You," but title track, Dogman, great lyrically, Shoes, Complain, Cigarettes, it's like a live staple. Their live cover of Manic Depression from Jimi Hendrix, Pretend, you know. It's a very good record. I put it in the top 6 or 7, but I'm glad I have it on vinyl. I don't like it quite as much as a lot of fans, but glad to find it finally on vinyl, and I don't need too many. I mean, I'll get their whole catalog probably eventually if they issue them, but as far as the priority to get on vinyl for King's X, it was definitely up there. So yeah, Eddie Money, I found this Eddie Money record for $3, $3.50, and the biggest reason why I bought it, this is the album Nothing to Lose. It came out in 87, I think, or 88. 88. Is if you look here on the back, you have one significant name, if I can show that on the right there. As he was known as Kai Gilbert when he toured with Eddie, but Kevin Gilbert. It says Walk on Water. That was probably the hit I know it for best. And he does some background vocals on 1 or 2 tracks here because I posted it on Facebook. But yeah, I knew there were some Eddie Money albums that he played on, at least 1 or 2. And of course he toured with him. That's what I heard about and got to know. But he's thanked in this, and then he's involved. Well, he's on there, you know. Anyway, Walk on Water, Let Me In. I think it's Let Me In was the one he did the background vocals. Magic and Boardwalk Baby are the little thing on the sticker. They're talking about the hits. Another album from the 80s, Linda Ronstadt's, what's it called? Featuring Aaron Neville, Cry Like a Rainstorm, Howl Like the Wind. I pretty much bought this, and I think this was like $1. I bought this because it's got the cover of Goodbye My Friend, which, I'll be completely, it's the last song on the album. Brings me to tears every time I hear it. It's a melancholy, incredibly sad song. It also brings me back to my youth, my childhood nostalgia. So I figured I would buy that. So a record that I've seen many times and never ended up buying, and this is a highly improved condition. I think it may be actually one of the more reissues. Look at this. This is a 180 or 200 gram. The second album from the first album from Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young, Deja Vu. Of course, I didn't see it, but I know Collective Unconscious, the band from St. Cloud or Sartell, I did this whole album live many years back, and I wanted to go. But this has, if I can actually find the track list, it doesn't have the track list on here. This has many of their classics. I think it has Wooden Ships. Let me just look here. Our House. Let's see here. Carry On, Teach Your Children. It doesn't have Wooden Ships. I'm wrong about that. Helpless and Woodstock. Those 4 out of the 5 records on side 1 were radio staples. You know, and I love their vocal harmonies, their the arrangements. Yeah, this is when I did the year this came out in, I'm gonna say 68, 69, 70. It doesn't say here. Oh, it's got the title track, Deja Vu, of course, I didn't even mention, which is a little deeper of a track, but also a favorite. When I first heard Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, I had their compilation So Far on CD. One of the first, 10 or 20 CDs I ever bought. This doesn't tell the year, though. I want to say this was either 69 or 70. I gotta get going here, but, well, I guess I should know this, but I don't know it. I'd have to look it up. Anyway, when I did the albums calendar from that year, as I was calling Retro Favorites, this was definitely, like, I did a ranking? I must have done a ranking. It's up there. It's their best record to me, and, you know, they only had 2 or 3 records. There was Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and then they did this one, and they did a record, I want to say late 70s, and then they did maybe one other, but it was kind of a super group. They weren't the members, of course, of Buffalo Springfield. Neil Young had his own solo career. The Birds, I you know, I should know my history. So the last item on this video, just to move on, is I just got at the concert last night. Garden Window from Oh Brother, their debut album, and you know, oh wow, this is a cool looking vinyl too. It's like a North Carolina blue, where they're from Atlanta. I think they're from Atlanta, but and I haven't revisited this record really since the year it came out. I think it was 2011, right after I saw them with the Deer Hunter. I think it was the Deer Hunter, and I forget who else was on that bill. It was a pretty interesting mix of artists. But I've seen them with Biffy Clyro last night at the Turf Club, and I thought, well, if they have the debut album, I'll definitely have to try to pick it up. And there's one song on this record. It's very, very artistic. The artwork's always stood out. It's kind of a big deal here. Oh Brother. I mean, they're sort of a mixture of like post-hardcore. They do some like noise, I guess, but then they also are progressive in some senses. They use a lot of dynamics. They have some poppy elements. There's a song called Open Your Mouth, or if it's not Open Your Mouth, Easy Talk, Open Your Mouth, that is just phenomenal. It's one of the best songs of this decade, I would say, the 2010s. Garden. But yeah, this is a good record. I'm glad I finally was able to get it. And but anyway, that's it for this vinyl haul. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. I have some plans for making videos. If this video is shareable, assuming it is, and just needing to find the time to it. I've been working a lot of overtime, of course, too, besides a lot of other issues, medical and financial and living. I'm moving, and these vinyls are probably going to be put into a storage locker soon. So, yeah, if I could do it, and that wouldn't necessarily require, and the time allows mainly, I want to start making like a series of videos I was thinking about, like I'm doing the albums of the year, the calendar, that kind of thing from each year, on what I have my favorite genre, this like Oh Brother or Biffy Clyro or Vinyl+1, sort of progressive college rock, taking like each year and making a video about each year's albums, just specifically in that style. Maybe I'll open it up at some point. I don't know. I'll see. It's really going to be a matter of trying it out and see if it works or not. But just to highlight certain years, and it's like with this specific subgenre per se, where it came from, what each year. There wasn't like really one specific year that was I can point. 2005 was an amazing year for it, but there wasn't like this key year like 67 was for sort of psychedelic and progressive rock, or 69. It sort of just evolved organically, and it sort of peaked, I guess. At this point, I would look back at like around 2008, 2007, end part of last decade. So it's still going on, but anyway, that's hopefully coming up in the near future if time allows. But again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.